Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another This Might Hurt. How are you? Happy Tuesday. It is the 23rd. Do you ever see that movie 23? Everything is 23. I think that's funny. I don't know. I don't know why that jumped in my head. But I guess maybe because I think in that movie I think it was Jim Carrey. He was the monster he was looking for, right? So if you haven't seen that movie, sorry. But it's kind of interesting because a lot of times we don't even realize what we're doing to sabotage ourselves. We just keep doing what we're doing, and I guess we're maybe a little dissociated when we do it. That could be, or Willie Mammoth is doing it at if I could talk, that would be helpful, at a subconscious level, and we don't always realize what we're doing to sabotage ourselves. But I didn't intend for this reading to be about self-sabotage, but maybe that's what it is. I'm not sure. I've been listening to Carrie's Leo reading, and it's funny because at one point she said, Leo moons, I'm talking to you. And I happen to be a Leo moon, Leo rising, and Taurus sun. And so I often listen to the Taurus one first, and then to go deeper for myself, I listen to the Leo one. But yeah, it's resonating a lot today. And yeah, anyway, her reading was not necessarily about self-sabotage, but about stepping into your power, if you will, and allowing yourself to be seen, and not needing the external validation, but the external validation is nice. So anyway, I don't know where all that came from, but let's get the energy for today. Energy for today. Energy for today. Sometimes I think I shuffle these incorrectly. All right, Two of Swords on its side. Decision to be made. Not wanting to make the decision, but a decision to be made nonetheless. It's more like balancing and compromise, right, on this decision. And maybe the decision to not decide, right? Not deciding is the third decision that you can make. But I kind of like this because maybe you don't have all the information to decide yet, but let's find out. Let's find out. But you're in a state of indecision, and that could also be like a state of surrender, where you're like, you know what? I'm just gonna let what flows flow, and let what comes to me come, and then I'll decide when it feels right. I kind of like that energy. 8 of Wands, because it's coming in fast, and the Emperor again. Wow, you saw me shuffle these guys. The 8 of Wands, the speed action, right? News arrives. So there's news coming in. The fact that you're waiting for more information before you make this decision, and there's more information coming, it blends so perfectly. And then the Emperor, which is the respect, right? The strategic planning. So as I get this information, as it comes in, I'm going to plan it strategically. I'm going to have the whole world in my hands. I'm going to keep I need to look up the Ankh. I'm sure you guys all know what it means, and you're probably screaming at the video right now, but I want to understand what the Ankh means at a deeper level, because we keep getting that. But I never noticed before. Does he have glasses? I don't think so. I don't think he has glasses, and I don't know why that matters. I was actually looking for it. I guess his face looks like sorry, it looks like Santa Claus to me, so I assumed he had glasses, and I still can't really tell because the optical illusion is too much for my old eyes here. But if he had glasses or didn't have glasses, either way you're seeing clearer. Maybe you don't need the glasses, maybe you do need the glasses, but either way you're paying attention to what you see and having that be the information, right? Because our perception is our reality, and other people's perception is their reality. And I think when we start to see clearly, that's the first thing we notice, right? And our last card for this reading today. What's the last card? Last card for today. There we go. Page of Wands. We haven't seen the Page of Wands in a while, but we've got the fast-moving energy, and then we have the new career, new idea, new project. So we have this waiting for more information. More information comes. Strategic planning, and then this new thing starting, right? So the page is about that planning phase. I'm going to go to school to become a therapist. I'm going to reach out to whatever, to move in a new direction, but the planning phase of it, right? So you're making the reservations for the vacation that you're going to take in 6 months, if you will. I like that. I like that. It progresses nicely. A lot of orange today. A lot of orange, which is the wands, right? Plus the emperor. A lot of sacral chakra, right? That creativity chakra being, this creativity, I guess, what's jumping in my head is taking two things that don't even necessarily go together and putting them together. There's been a lot of that in my life lately. That's kind of been a theme that I've been noticing, where I'm wanting to make things so different, but I don't want to start from scratch. So I take two things that don't necessarily go together and put them together. And I can't think of a really good example right now, but I think you get the idea. Let's get the advice. If I can think of an example, I will for sure let you know. But right now, I'm just not. Maybe it's, I don't know. I don't know what it is. Let's get the advice for today. What's the advice for this new idea, these new things coming? That's a lot of cards, and I kind of threw them, so I don't really like that. What's the advice? There we go. Queen of Cups. Compassion. Bring that feminine energy to it, right? Just receive. She's not standing in action. She's sitting and receiving and looking at that bowl of water, and she's not even looking at it, right? So see where he's looking? He's definitely looking, and she's feeling. So I think the advice is go ahead and feel what's right for you, because it may not make sense. I have made so many decisions in my life that didn't make sense because it's what felt right and it was what lined up with my values, and it turned out well for me. And I don't know if that was a gift from the divine, but I've always been that way, where I've never known any other way to be. And that might have been even from watching my parents who raised me go against what they wanted, and they were miserable, right? And so by default, if you go with what you want, then maybe that's the trick, if you will. So maybe that's where I figured it out. My woolly mammoth figured it out. What you don't see coming at the bottom of the deck is the Ace of Cups. So this is new love. I'm looking at the keywords here, and it's like a new baby, proposal, marriage, birth. I don't see it that way. Maybe it's the birth of a new self, a newfound love of self, a newfound, kind of like what I was talking about with my parents. Like, you don't know what you want till you know what you don't want, and you don't know what works till you know what don't work. So it's that new love of trusting yourself, of understanding that my way may not be the best way, but it's the best way for me. I hope that makes sense. Let's get a This Might Help card. What might help us today? What might help us today? Let's see. These cards do not like to speak to me sometimes. What might help us today? What's going to help us today? There we go. The Battered Sword. So this is number 11 in the major arcana, which is Justice. So the Battered Sword, we'll look this up real quick because it's clarifying this Queen of Cups for me. And we will read it as a clarifier. I don't know what's going on with my voice today, guys. Sorry. The Battered Sword. As a clarifier, the Battered Sword will land on a card that represents a situation in which your personal ideals of justice will come into play. How can you fight the injustices you see? How can you create systems of fairness and accountability around you? Well, how can you do that? With the Queen of Cups. So when you approach these situations with love, with compassion, with feeling, with emotion, as opposed to logic, right? Logic and strategy and planning and so forth. When you approach those situations with the Queen of Cups energy, then you can create justice and accountability around you. When you give someone a safe place to own their shit, they're more likely to own their shit, I think is what that's kind of saying. And when they take that accountability, then a sense of justice and fairness can come back, because everybody's taking accountability for their part in what's going on. And at the end of the day, that's all we want, right? So I've been going through the situation with my grandson and the bullying and the school board, and there's all these things happening right now. And really all my daughter wants is for the school to take accountability for the fact that they didn't handle it right and do better. That's all she's asking for. And it's turned into this whole big media circus nightmare because this principal just won't take accountability. And if she did, then justice would be served. She took accountability and said, I handled it wrong. I could handle it better next time, and then planned to handle it and actually did handle it better next time, then that would be that justice, that battered sword. But it takes a level of fighting and compassion for that to happen. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Take care. We'll chat tomorrow.